My name is Alison Dodd. I'm the director from The Cloud. The Cloud is a division within B-Sky-B, and we specialise in Wi-Fi and high-quality public Wi-Fi availability throughout the UK. I also am joined this afternoon by Emma Woods, who's the marketing director for PizzaExpress. And what we hope to do in 30 minutes is to share with you some of the trends we're seeing in the mobile market space. Hopefully not too many that are going to be new to you, but more importantly, what are we seeing with some of the businesses that we work with around how they're embracing the mobile channel to better engage with customers. So first of all, sometime within the next 12 months, 9 months, in the calendar year 2013, it's forecast that there will be more mobile internet-connected devices than there are people on the planet. It's probably a stat you've heard a couple of times over the last 2 days. But when you think about that, it sounds a little bit far-fetched. But if you bring that right down to the UK, in fact, it starts to become a little bit more realistic. 3 years ago, I had the pleasure of heading up the PC server and mobile phone business for Microsoft. And way back in 2009, doesn't seem like that long ago, even then, there were more mobile phones in the UK than there were people. About 1.1 phone for every person. Today, 3 years on, it's about 1.7 phones for every person in the UK. So that trend really hasn't changed. So we already have more people, more devices than we have people in the UK. What has changed over the 3 years is the type of devices that people are using. And now 58 to 60% of all of the mobile phones in the UK are smart devices. That means people are no longer just using them obviously for making phone calls, but they are now shopping companions, their social media friends, their research tools, their keys, their payment devices, you name it, people are using them much more to do things other than make mobile phone calls. And in fact, it's the proliferation of these devices and the connectivity of these devices via 3G, 4G and obviously Wi-Fi, which we specialise in, that is changing the behaviours of the consumer. Again, you go back 3 years, actually only to 2010, and tablet PCs actually were an unheard of device. The launch of the first generation of the iPad in April 2010, Wi-Fi enabled device. Actually, at the time, there was a lot of enthusiasm about them, but now in the UK, there will be nearly as many tablets shipped this year as there are PCs. So in 3 years, it's gone from a non-existent device to actually outshipping what would have once upon a time been perceived as the major way to connect via the internet. In fact, this is now the device that most people use to connect to the internet. And the role that PCs are playing actually still has an important role, but it's being augmented by connectivity with mobile devices. So what does that mean? More devices, more connectivity, more access. It means that the amount of data people is consuming is going up exponentially. In the last 12 months, the amount of data on average we've consumed via our mobile devices has doubled, and in the next 4 years it's forecast to increase tenfold. So be careful on how you structure your data plans for your mobile devices because as we look at more connectivity, more content, more uses, it's going to change what we need our devices to do. So as marketeers, what does that mean for us? How do we tap into this evolving and emerging mobile market space? And more specifically, how do we make the most out of these devices that people are using around the UK and indeed around the globe? I'm fortunate I get to work with over 400 of some of the top brands in the UK, predominantly high street brands that hopefully most of you should recognise. We provide high quality public Wi-Fi into the venues of these partners, and this is only a snapshot of some of the partners we work with. But it's quite an eclectic mix, everything from the train stations and major travel hubs throughout the UK to some of the high street brands and department stores that you would recognise, to building supply companies, to high street fashion brands, to some of the well-known restaurant brands, obviously PizzaExpress included in that, to health centres. And we provide the Wi-Fi connectivity in all of those different environments. So I'm going to talk to you from the point of view of having had the opportunity to work with a lot of these brands. How are they using the mobile form factor to tap into engaging with their customers, but more importantly, growing the lifetime value of the customers that they work with. And although that's a pretty eclectic mix of partners that we work with, they all have pretty much one thing in common, and that is that they all want to grow their business. They want to keep the customers they've got and obviously increase either the loyalty and or the lifetime value and revenues they're generating from those, and they also want to acquire new customers. So most businesses are looking at both of those two options as levers to grow their business. What we do know, having worked with, as I said, over 400 partners, we have over 17,000 different venues in the UK where we provide high quality Wi-Fi access. And since October, we've been conducting some research through an independent company to look at why do people use the Wi-Fi, what are the triggers, what things do they do when they're engaged and connected via different mediums. In fact, we've interviewed over 24,000 consumers since October, and interestingly, again, these are people that are all using some form of mobile device, whether that's phone, tablet or indeed laptop. 1 in 3 of the consumers actually said they pick a venue by choice because of the availability of Wi-Fi in that venue. So actually having Wi-Fi in the venue is a great way of acquiring new customers. How do we at The Cloud help our partners to acquire those customers? We have an application. Actually last week we just launched the latest update of our Fast Connect app, which actually helps consumers find, that's actually a map of Covent Garden, helps users find where the nearest hotspot is, where they can go and get access to high quality public Wi-Fi. So first of all, the Fast Connect app helps acquire customers for our partners, and secondly, more importantly, in the new application, it actually allows people to seamlessly connect to the Wi-Fi across the entire network from as far north as Aberdeen right down to Land's End. So it has an auto connection capability that means that you never have to re-enter your password and username again. So it's a great benefit in terms of helping acquire new customers. Every time a customer actually goes into an environment and uses the Wi-Fi, that is an opportunity to enhance the connection with that brand. We have over 8 million registered users that are using the Wi-Fi across the UK on a weekly basis. About 7 million use it every day. So that's a huge reach into the consumer market space in the UK. And every single one of those eyeballs, the first thing they see when they go into one of our venues is they see what we call the landing page, which is branded and obviously a way of emotionally connecting with the brand of that particular venue. Thirdly, if you think about mobile devices, they tend to be pretty much assigned to a particular individual. It's very few people that would share a mobile phone. And so what that enables us to do is help to derive insight about the customer who's actually using the mobile phone. So for example, we know when people register, we actually give them the opportunity to opt into marketing in the venue. So after you see the landing page, you get a one-time option for each of the partner brands where you go in to actually opt into marketing from that particular brand. And today we have between 1 in 5 and 2 in 5, so between 20 and 40% of consumers opting into marketing via their mobile device to ongoing marketing from the brands that they're engaging with. So a pretty high opt-in rate to provide information and contact information back to those partner brands. Why is that important? If you went to any of the sessions on omnichannel marketing or on customer relationship and data, this is a great way of augmenting your CRM systems with additional data about your customers. Obviously their name, and most importantly, one of the keys is the email address. This is all privacy compliant and people have to opt in, so it's opt in as opposed to opt out, but a great way of getting more information about your customers. Because we know who they are, we know their female, male, their age, their postcode, again we can start to provide some aggregated insight. Now if the customer has opted in, we provide that information specifically to the partners, but if not, we can aggregate the data And for example, we're working with some of the shopping malls to give them profile demographics of how far customers are prepared to travel to come into malls, which demographics their customer base falls into. All of this information is enabled and unlocked because of the use of the mobile devices. We can obviously tell you the type of devices, the type of operating system, how long people stay online, and roughly what sort of usage people are doing on those devices. Again, all at an aggregate level, so it's privacy compliant. And more specific, and finally, we can start to determine behaviours of people. So one of the largest growth areas in mobile devices in the last 3 months is people looking at geo-specific information. So once upon a time, people would stay at home and research the product online. We're now seeing people go onto product websites in-store, looking at the product while they happen to be standing in-store, or indeed, leading up to Christmas, 24% of people were using these as price comparison devices while they were standing in-store. So the whole mobile environment is starting to drive different behaviours in the consumer set. But that is all insight that you can derive through the Wi-Fi enablement in those businesses. And why is that important? 20% of the sales online last year in the UK were actually done on a mobile device. So if you're in a business that's selling a service or a product and you're not thinking about using this as a tool to connect and increase your customer engagement, it's probably something you should put on your strategy for this year. So as I said, we get to work with a lot of partners. One specific partner we've done some work with is Mamas and Papas. Again, a high street retailer specialising in the childcare and children's goods. Indeed, the first thing is you need to obviously make sure your website's mobile optimised. It might sound simple, but this time last year, if I was speaking, only a third of the top businesses in the UK actually had a mobile optimised website. Good news is, obviously, people took the message from last year. Now, 2/3 of the top brands in the UK have a mobile optimised website. However, only 1/3 of those actually enable mobile commerce on that website. And when you think about why do people actually shop online, the number one reason is convenience, but the second reason is range. And one of the great things that Mamas and Papas has done, they have a very rich website in terms of providing additional insights and information to inform the purchasing process. They wanted to bring that experience in store. So their sales staff are trained on how to help people use the mobile site and the mobile commerce capabilities in store, so that if things are not in stock in store, they can very easily order it online and either use click and collect to come and collect it at a later date, or indeed many times offering free delivery so the person still can make their purchase, they're converting in store, and the customer is still leaving with a very positive experience while in store, but using the online information and mobile commerce to support that. So if people are using online in more ways, then the in-store experience needs to be thought about a little bit differently. As I said, we tend to focus on working with high street brands, and in one case, Argos, again, one of the biggest catalogue companies, we're working with them to Wi-Fi enable their stores to create try before you buy experience centres. Why is that important? Sometimes buying from a catalogue isn't necessarily easy. People still want to look, feel, touch the physical thing. So again, the Wi-Fi becomes the enabler for that. And then Kraft, again, a very well-known brand, working with some of the grocery stores, have been using both QR codes and RFID. And you might think, well, how do you make cheese exciting? Indeed, you can walk up, scan the QR code underneath the brand of cheese, and it will provide you with recipes pertaining to that type of cheese. Again, a huge catalogue of online recipes, but they bring that in store to enhance the customer experience. And interesting case study, they've done it with both QR codes, but also with RFID, where you tap and collect, and both had great traction. So again, if you want to enhance the experience in store, you want to give people quick ways to get access to information, whether that's product, nutrition, allergies, comparisons, purchasing, decision support information, like Mamas and Papas, how do you decide what pushchair to buy? Then QR codes are a great way to fast track that customer experience. Now, QR codes have been around for quite a while, and probably if you counted the number of QR codes you've seen today while walking around, you're probably up in the hundreds. Augmented reality also been around for probably 12 to 16 months. Probably hasn't advanced as fast as QR codes in terms of a vehicle for engaging with customers. And still, I would argue, early and experimental days. But we've had the opportunity to do some fun stuff with some of our brands. We work with Marks and Spencer. This is a campaign that we actually ran in one of the large train stations in Waterloo. Not this Valentine's Day, but the previous Valentine's Day, actually to remind all those people to order their flowers for their loved one. So as you can see, a lot of people standing in the train station, when they aimed at the rather beautiful looking model, obviously through the power of augmented reality, she came to life and danced to a great piece of music that unfortunately was extremely catchy. But at the end of this, why do this fun, engaging piece of work for the commuters? At the end, there was a very strong call to action to order your flowers online. So, A, it engaged customers, but more importantly, it was about moving them through the sales process. And we got some great results, I have to say, out of that campaign, both in terms of the faces, the looks on people's faces while they were watching the augmented reality, but more importantly, the sales out of the other end of that. And likewise, we're doing some work with WH Smith. People do still buy books. And if you go into any of the WH Smith stores now, again, still very much a bricks and mortar retailer, they're doing some great stuff with augmented reality now. I was going to try and demo it, but they didn't have a cable. But if you download the WH Smith app, you go in store and literally aim it at the logo on here. Actually, you get Richard and Judy giving you a review of that book. Again, great way to get some more information to decide whether you want to buy it or not. So it's moving me through the sales cycle. But more importantly, it's also recognising the change in trends and people actually wanting to move more to electronic books than just physical books. So it's enabling that mobile commerce while standing in a bricks and mortar environment using the mobile device. And as people get more devices and more connectivity, they want to access their information in more places and more times than they have before. And so we're seeing a huge growth, as I said, in data consumption, but people are expecting content to be much more portable. So you want to access it on your phone, your PC, on your TV at home, and most people probably want to look at it on 3 devices in a day. And obviously, being a division of Sky, we are a content company first and foremost. And we've seen the prolific growth of this with people wanting to take their Sky content with them on the go. Less than a year ago, we launched a product called Sky Go. We now have Sky Go Extra, but nearly 1.3 million people in less than 12 months now take their content with them on the go when they travel. So again, it's about enhancing the experience for the end user and giving them more capability to access that video type content. Why is that important for you as marketeers? You need to be thinking about how you're developing your content and how you can make that accessible for people to consume. User-generated content, we've seen some great competitions with people generating end-user content that can be viewed and used by other consumers. But again, something that you should think about as part of your overall strategy. Now remember, each device tends to be locked to or used by one person, and we tend to know where that device is at any one time. Why is that important? Because as we look out to the future, we can now not only know who they are and where they are, we can start to deliver them in context messaging and in context offers. Why is that important in the UK? 74% of people take action after receiving a notification in context. If you're sending them an email about an offer in PizzaExpress while they're sitting at home watching the TV, they may not take that up. If I happen to be out and about and near a location where I can go and redeem that, then I'm more likely to go and take action on that. So the mobile device becomes critical in enabling what I would consider the next step in using the mobile channel to engage with customers. And the other thing is that in the UK, and again the UK even more so than our US counterparts, Coupons and offers are much higher in usage in the UK than they are in the US. So being able to offer in-context offers or special notifications becomes extremely important. And I've talked about the growth of mobile phones and tablets, but actually what is going to enable us to have more people, more mobile connected devices than people on the planet this year? It's not going to be mobile phones and it's not going to be tablets. It's actually going to be machine-to-machine capability. And by machine-to-machine, I mean machine to mobile, to another mobile device, to a machine. Today, there's already 180 million machine-to-machine devices on the planet, 2012. The forecast is that's going to grow to 25 billion by 2015. So in terms of growth, this is where the mobile growth explosion is going to happen. And where do machine-to-machine capabilities come into play, particularly in the areas of marketing? It's really around driving service excellence for consumers. Most of you would have heard of or know about near-field communications, but for consumers, we now have keyless entry using mobile phones. You have the Orange and Barclaycard trial that's going on at the moment with the likes of Pret A Manger, Eat and Little Chef, who we work with, where you can tap and pay just using your mobile phone, up to £15. But again, that's enhancing and slipstreaming the customer experience in store. So again, machine to machine or mobile to machine to mobile is going to be where the growth is. Everything from coffee loyalty cards to transport to payment. And then finally, if the mobile device is used in context and we know where people are, we have the capability to obviously deliver them marketing messages in context. So over 7 million people a day pass through the cloud network in the UK. And so we are now working with advertisers and have over the last 6 months to deliver targeted marketing messages in context to consumers while they are in a particular venue. So for example, we're working with some of the drinks brands and offering in-context advertising while people are in pubs and clubs. Why? Because we know if they get a message in a pub and club about a drinks brand, they're 74% more likely to act on that than if we sent it to them independent of being in context, of being able to access that. Why is this important? Unlike some of the other marketing channels, we've had huge reach and we've had huge engagement. So some great impressions and some high click-through rates with anywhere between 3 and 6% click-through rate on that. And this is just some of the examples of campaigns we've run with the likes of Microsoft and Greggs. So the mobile form factor, people are obviously using it much more to engage and expecting much more from the mobile device. And as marketeers, there's some great ways we can use that to amplify engagement and to drive customer lifetime value. And one such brand that's embraced this and been on a great journey with us around that is PizzaExpress. So I'd like to invite Emma to come and talk to you about some of the great things that they've done using the Wi-Fi to help.
Hi, can you all hear me? Right, well, I'm going to just take 5 minutes. I think that's all we've got left. Hopefully we've got some PizzaExpress fans in the room. Yes? Thanks. So, just so that everyone knows who we are and what we do, we've been around for 48 years. We're here before McDonald's. 400 restaurants serving the finest pizza. We've actually just developed an international business, and so we're extending our franchise over. Opened in Mumbai, conveniently just before David Cameron appeared, so that was quite good for us. But I just want to talk in 5 minutes about the digital journey we've been on over the last 5 years. And I suppose the thing that I think is really important for all of us, including me, to get our heads around is that kind of customer behaviour in the digital space is just changing so fast. So I joined PizzaExpress 5 years ago, and the first thing I had to do was design a website. We didn't really have one, and it's the website on the left. I thought it was quite a good website at the time. I was very proud of it. It took a long time, spent a lot of money with a very sexy digital agency. We got 100,000 hits a month, and actually all people did on that website was they found out when our restaurants were open and they could check menus. That's only 5 years ago. Now the website we have on the right now, we designed about 18 months ago. We get 1 million hits a month, 1 million users a month, I should say. And at the heart of that website is a booking portal. 5 years ago, no customers booked online. None. Not many people booked at all. If they only booked if it was a Mother's Day or something like that, and then they'd come in, and do you remember those grubby books that people wrote the booking down, and you were a bit unsure of whether they'd actually spelt your name right? But now, 20% of our customers book online. You can also download offers, you can buy takeaway pizza, you can buy gift cards. It's really central to the way our customers behave. And I suppose that's something I'd really like you all to take away, because that's 5 years ago. So what's going to happen in 5 years' time? If that's the sort of journey our customers are on. So huge change in digital activity for our customers. We recognised about three years ago that customers were beginning to behave digitally, and actually made the decision, and we were the first restaurant chain to do it, that we needed to have Wi-Fi in our restaurants. This was in 2011. And at the time, it was quite a hard decision for us, because actually as a restaurant chain, you should be encouraging people to come in and talk to each other, as opposed to come in and sit on their tablets, talking to their tablets. So we went through quite a lot of umming and ahhing about it, and we launched it. And has been very well received by our customers. We have about 250,000 customers a month spending time on the cloud. But do you know what? They spend 35 minutes. You're in PizzaExpress for about an hour. The people that use the cloud are on the cloud for 35 minutes. I mean, it's quite terrifying the way. And some of that will be during the conversation, or just checking a cinema, just checking where we're going next. But some of it's probably because actually the way we talk to each other now is with our head down on the phone. So it's kind of a massive change. The reason that we launched Wi-Fi was actually because we wanted at the time to launch an app that allowed people to pay on their app rather than having to wait for the waiter. That moment when you're in a really busy restaurant, you can't get the waiter's attention. He's gone off somewhere, your kids are kicking off, we wanted people to be able to pay, and you can do that using our app. You use the code that you get in your receipt, and that's been quite successful. And we had to use Wi-Fi because lots of our restaurants are in very old buildings. I don't know if you've been in a PizzaExpress in an old building trying to get a 3G signal. It's an absolute bloody nightmare. You have to kind of go out into the street and try and hold your phone up. So we had to use Wi-Fi. That's been very, very successful for us in terms of, very tangibly offering the customer something different. Now, as we kind of roll forward to where we are today, I think it is really important to think about digital as helping customers with their kind of with their journey, their booking journey, their transactional journey. But I suppose the thing I'd like you to take away is going to link to the fact that customer behaviour is changing. It's really, really important for us to use it as a platform to probably engage in real time with customers. Customers are having bad experiences in our restaurants, will complain on Twitter or on Facebook. We want to be able to deal with that. But we also want customers who are having good experiences to be able to share that with us. So over the last few months, if you're a PizzaExpress customer, you'll know that we've launched a couple of calzones. They're incredibly difficult to make because of the nature of the seal. It's taken us a long time to do it. We're very, very proud of them. So we've said to customers, if you think they're good, please take a picture and give us your seal of approval. So it's on the table. It's a take card on the table. It's been going for a couple of weeks. We've had 2,000 people take pictures of calzones and give us their hashtag seal of approval. And some of them do not look that good. And then you can use a vehicle for you to go, hang on a minute, Birmingham 3, why does the calzone look like this? But I've been amazed. I have a very good digital team, very young. They said, this will work. And really customers want to engage. They want to participate in a digital space. 2,000 entries, 7,000 likes, that's reached 163,000 people. PizzaExpress is a big brand, but it has tiny marketing budgets. This costs us it's got a video as well, so it probably costs us about £4,000 to do. It's reached 163,000 people. So we're very pleased with that, and I think that will become incredibly important as we go forward. So just in terms of the future, I'm sure you've seen it from all the other people you've talked to listened to over the last day or so. There's a real buzzword around digital convergence. When we designed our website, we designed a website for a computer, a website for a mobile, and we had our app, and We had 3 different agencies all charging fees. There's a massive digital convergence now. We expect to bring that all together. We also want to use them as communication channels, all of them as communication channels, and run the same content on all channels. So I just thought I would end with a bit of a pitch for PizzaExpress by showing you the PizzaExpress ad that's been playing on the Sky. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because there's no Wi-Fi. Can you believe it? I have 4 kids, and they see Wi-Fi or free Wi-Fi as one of their sort of, rights. One of the things. And they get really angry about it if there's not Wi-Fi, because Temple Run 2 has got a new update that they want to do, and so I find myself getting angry as well. So anyway, if you go on our website or any of our channels, you'll be able to see PizzaExpress content. So that's where we're applying it. Thank you.
So just in closing, it was more to do with the video player on the laptop not working, but this is the example of the travel portal, and we did actually work with PizzaExpress, and their video content was up on the transport portal in over 100 of the busiest train stations in the UK. We had over 2 million impressions and about 4% click-through rate. So people want to snack and consume that content. It was some great creative. Highly recommend you go and have a look at it. But another way that by using the Wi-Fi we can enable businesses to grow by getting the message out there around the great Fresh campaign that they had. So hopefully we've given you some insights into how different people are using Wi-Fi enabled mobile devices to actually seize better ways of connecting with customers, and hopefully giving you some food for thought so you will go back to work tomorrow and hopefully think about doing one thing better or different, or leveraging someone else's great work to help you in your work as you go forward. So thank you very much.